140 years since Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross, people have come together in innovative ways to serve and provide hope during emergencies. In 1889, when floods displaced thousands of people in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Clara set up our first shelters with the help of just 50 volunteers. This laid the groundwork for the Red Cross to become a leading relief organization, which now helps millions of people every year across the globe. Clara also supported those serving in our country's armed forces. During the Spanish-American War in 1898, the Red Cross recruited nurses to care for the troops. Ever since, Red Cross volunteers have remained a constant presence. From helping a deployed service member return home during a family emergency, to providing virtual stress-relieving workshops. And our work hasn't stopped there. By 1914, we began empowering people with critical first aid and water safety skills. Over the past century, these skills have saved countless lives. Today, people have life-saving information to use at their fingertips through the free Red Cross Emergency app. We've continued to adapt in other ways too. In 1941, Dr. Charles Drew pioneered the country's first blood program through the Red Cross, which now supplies about 40% of the nation's blood. And during the coronavirus pandemic, Red Cross donors stepped up to support new programs like donating convalescent plasma for the most seriously ill COVID-19 patients. We're proud of all that our volunteers and donors have accomplished in the past 140 years, along with the work of today's volunteers to chart the path forward for future generations. Because while we can't stop emergencies from happening, we can help ensure that people never face them alone. Join us to provide relief and care wherever it's needed, today and for years to come. Visit redcross.org to learn more.
Hello, my name is Kevin Watson, and I chair the board for the Western North Carolina chapter of the American Red Cross. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to Salute to Heroes, Western North Carolina, today, June 10th, 2021. I'd like to thank the board of the American Red Cross from Western North Carolina for hosting the event today. I've been involved with the Red Cross now for about 9 years, and one of my favorite things is finding opportunities like today to recognize special individuals who better our communities by contributing of themselves and sharing their talents. So thanks to all of those nominated today. Our virtual meeting today will honor heroes living among us here in Western North Carolina. These men and women have served on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic and beyond. The 12 remarkable individuals that we will honor today have touched our communities with acts of extraordinary courage, uncommon levels of caring, kindness, and service. Today we honor these leaders who really exemplify the humanity and volunteer service that drives forward the mission of the American Red Cross. Proceeds from today's event will benefit the American Red Cross disaster services, including home fires and natural disasters. Thanks to everyone for attending.
Hi, my name is Megan Robinson, and I'm the Executive Director of the American Red Cross serving Western North Carolina. Our chapter covers the 16 westernmost counties in North Carolina, serving over 800,000 residents. Thank you for spending time with us today to honor our 2021 Western North Carolina heroes. It has been a year, and these heroes have been on the front lines in our community. I hope their stories inspire you and inspire our mountain communities to be kind, to be safe, and to be appreciative of the dedication of these individuals and so many more. I do want to spend a minute to honor another set of heroes who worked tirelessly throughout the last year, our Red Cross volunteers. Since July, our volunteers have responded to 162 local disasters, primarily individual home fires. They've deployed to places like Texas, California, Louisiana, and Kentucky, in person and virtually. They've provided over 800 services to our local military members, veterans, and their families. They've taught classes on resilience and called veterans who are experiencing isolation due to COVID-19. They've worked at blood drives, taking temperatures, and checking thousands of donors in the door. They've thanked financial donors, identified new donors, and worked to ensure we are representing us in all of Western North Carolina. 90% of our work is done by volunteers, and since July, over 300 people have dedicated themselves to our mission and put in over 16,000 hours of their time. And last, I want to thank our blood donor heroes. Despite COVID-19, since July, we've collected over 21,000 units of blood, platelets, and plasma from our community. Thank you. Congratulations again to our heroes being recognized today, and thank you for all of your work.
Hi, I'm Jerry Goldberg, a former Red Cross employee who couldn't leave the mission behind. So now I'm an active disaster and public affairs volunteer and board member of the Red Cross serving Western North Carolina. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the individuals, organizations, and businesses that are sponsoring this year's Salute to WNC Heroes. Your support enables the Red Cross to give hope to people in crisis right here in our community. This year, we're especially grateful to our life-saving sponsors, Ingalls and Jersey Mike's, for stepping up and supporting this event and the recognition of our local heroes. I'd also like to thank our Partners in Preparedness sponsors, Advent Health, Pinnacle Financial Partners, and Wells Fargo Advisors. I'd also like to recognize our supporters of service, MB Haynes, Marketing Outpost, and Luann Labetz with Great Life Realty. This year, our Friends for Family sponsors are Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. And we'd also like to thank our media sponsor, News 13 WLOS, which also produced the interviews of our heroes in today's celebration. On behalf of the American Red Cross serving Western North Carolina, we are so thankful for the generosity of these sponsors. Thanks to partners like you, when emergencies happen, the Red Cross stands ready to help families in need. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
2020 has showed us that heroes have a new face. No capes, no special powers or supersonic strength. As a matter of fact, today's heroes are cloaked in secrecy, disguised as moms, dads, healthcare workers, or those on call every day to keep us safe. They are truck drivers, teachers, and yes, even grocery clerks. They have kept us safe, healthy, delivered supplies, shining lights in a storm, essential to our way of life. That is why it's such an honor to participate in this event. At Ingalls, we know something about heroes, and we know what it has taken for this year's honorees to rise to the occasion. There is a driving force to do what is right and lift others with little care for their own recognition. That is what today is for, our chance to say thank you, and we salute you.
Hello, my name is Rayfield Lee, Operations Director for Jersey Mike Subs of Asheville. We here at Jersey Mike Subs of Asheville are honored to work with the American Red Cross in the Salute to Western North Carolina Heroes campaign. Our company's mantras of give to give and make a difference in someone's life are sewn into the fabric of our company's DNA. It is an honor and a privilege to sponsor firefighter hero Carlos Vargas as we wish him continued success and great health in the future. Thank you.
I was waiting tables at Apollo Flame. It's a restaurant on Brevard Road in Asheville. We were having a busy lunch rush, and I come out to the front patio of the restaurant, and I happen across this woman who looks like she's choking. And my first thought is, I saw a back brace on her. So I'm thinking to myself, I might hurt her back if I try to do the Heimlich maneuver on her. So I'm going to have to be very precise, but soft. So I gave her a Heimlich maneuver. I saw a huge piece of chicken from her salad fly all the way across the table and hit the side of the building. Then she like coughed, got her breath. I made sure she took a couple of sips of water. And she immediately asked me if I've had any medical training. And I just said, I've been waiting tables and tending bar for a while. This isn't the first time I've had to do this. The more people who know how to do it, the less likely it is that someone's going to find themselves in a situation where nobody knows what to do.
Kevon Baton and Catherine Glenn are the driving force behind a host of local community service projects. They're the founders of Rotaract Asheville and a dynamic duo.
Kevon is really excellent at thinking about creative ideas and getting people involved.
Yeah, I feel like Catherine is the backbone. I love that I can rely on her to get things done.
They'll be honored at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes. Quote, Kevon and Catherine work to help members develop leadership and professional skills while also engaging in community service in ways that are fun and deeply fulfilling, someone wrote anonymously to the Red Cross. Most importantly, they are inspiring other young professionals to roll up their sleeves and volunteer within our community. As a group, Rotaract Asheville cleaned up the garden at Verner Center for Early Learning in Candler. They also helped renovate a barn into classroom space at Elida Home. They pick up litter to help clean up the environment while having good, clean fun together as they plot ways to make a difference.
We really roll up our sleeves and get out in the community and do the hard work to make that positive impact and build that fellowship amongst our members as well.
It's just the importance of young professionals who are new in the community, who have been here for a long time, being able to form bonds with each other and also just get out and work in the community.
They've even partnered internationally with the Bogota Rotaract Club in Colombia. Together, they teach English to children through virtual classrooms. This play space at the WNC Nature Center is another example of volunteerism at work contributed by Rotary Club members. Together, Kevon and Catherine organize all sorts of ways to benefit the world around them while building friendships along the way.
But a lot of those ideas come from what people in our community really want to be involved in.
I'm always really inspired that other people really want to help out the community.
The setup for this Red Cross blood drive is just like others across the mountains. But stick around and you'll meet the person who makes this effort unique.
She's been donating blood for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, it saves people's lives. So.
I like to think a lot of them come back because of me. You know, I'd spend time with them and talk to them and ask them about their families.
For some 4 decades, Red Cross volunteer Nina Thompson's put the drive in blood drive. As a registered nurse and retired school teacher, she's long understood the dire need.
But I saw it back in the day when we needed units of blood. Sometimes we had to wait, you know, back years and years ago. So there's a real need.
A blood drive at Andrews United Methodist happens like clockwork every 56 days. Over the years, Nina has partnered with the American Red Cross Biomedical Services team to host drives in Murphy and Andrews. She has a huge impact on bolstering the blood supply in these rural areas, spending hours recruiting donors. And once they're in the door, she makes them feel appreciated.
Talk to people who are donating, you know, just take their mind off of the bag of blood down below their leg.
She takes it personal. She really, she sees the value in saving lives.
The Andrews community alone has collected more than 4,700 units since 1994. That adds up to 14,000 lives saved.
The numbers of lives that we've changed or helped or saved, it blew me away. I just feel like crying.
Red Cross District Manager Sherry Klotz honored both Nina and the church.
Obviously, this is to present to you guys here at First United Methodist Church in Andrews the extraordinary work you've done during COVID-19 with us. You've not canceled any blood drives. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
It takes a community-wide effort to make this happen. Nina does her part by treating blood donors with care.
Being kind and being respectful and being appreciative.
In Henderson County, Jimmy Brissy has an essential role as Emergency Services Director. He'll gladly roll up his sleeves to help his team of first responders succeed.
Really, I view my role as first and foremost supporting the staff that's there on the front lines every day. They're the ones that are making a difference on a daily basis.
This summer, he'll be honored with other unsung men and women at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes. Jimmy should be commended for going above and beyond on the small things, an anonymous person wrote to the Red Cross. The small things like taking out the trash after a large event so that the cleaning staff is not overwhelmed, or lightening the mood in a room with a joke or a turn of phrase. His confident and calm leadership inspires collaboration and cooperation.
Well, it's certainly very humbling. I don't view myself as a hero. I'm just another resource that's available, and I firmly do believe the real heroes are the ones out there that you just heard driving down the street with the siren going. They're the ones doing the work, and I'm thankful to work alongside them.
He served Henderson County since he was 15 when he first joined the Henderson County Rescue Squad. Brissy's also worked as a paramedic, a law enforcement lieutenant, and a firefighter. He views every emergency as an opportunity.
But seeing and recognizing that in those times, this may be the one time that they interact with our community, the emergency services community. And that's a tremendous opportunity to show them that we care, even though we don't know them.
Last year, Henderson County was one of the first to offer drive-through coronavirus testing. Brissy helped facilitate that.
We opened one of the first drive-through COVID testing locations in partnership with the hospital, the health department, and Blue Ridge Community College. And we're able to run that for several weeks until more testing was more widespread.
In December, he got vaccinated for the virus, urging others to do the same.
And I'm glad to roll my sleeves up along with all of our team here working on the front lines, battling this pandemic.
As we said earlier, he's never afraid to roll up his sleeves, in the process providing steady leadership with compassion. The Charles George VA Medical Center serves veterans throughout their life. Many eventually take their last breath here. That's why Suka Chapel-Horst and Kaylin Hall founded the No Veteran Dies Alone program.
It is an honor because we get to be with the vets at the most crucial point of their life, at the end of life.
They work with the VA's hospice and palliative care team to support vets and their families. Suka and Kaylin created an 11th hour call list that includes devoted hospice volunteers.
Even though they're not awake, they're not aware, they're in the final stages, just to be there with them and hold them in peace and help them make that crossing.
Being there so they're never alone. The family can rest, family can go, and with the knowledge that we are there.
They honor the vets with a quilt in a ceremony with loved ones by their side.
Every quilt has a flag on it and a little card that says that it comes from the volunteers.
That quilt becomes a cherished memento at a somber time.
They're thinking about their life and what they did and what happened, and we want to be a part of that in appreciating them for the service that they have given to the country.
The two women will be honored at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes this June. Quote, both women are humble leaders who are optimistic people finding solutions in times of crisis, their nomination form reads. They pursue the goals of their group with passion without letting their own needs or interests get in the way. Suka and Kaylin have truly impacted the lives of our veteran community.
I just count it a privilege and honor that the Red Cross is allowing us to partner up with the VA and be there in the crucial hour, that final hour. No vet ever dies alone. Think about that. We're there 24/7.
This honor, which is a tremendous honor, wouldn't even be possible if we didn't have the volunteers that carried it through.
Both women have relatives who served our country. That makes this effort even more meaningful.
When that family can look at you and say thank you, and you get to hear the stories as they're meeting the end of life moments, you get to hear their stories, their truth.
At Western Carolina University, everyone's driven by different goals. WCU EMS Chief Madison Benton came to the mountains to pursue a noble and essential calling.
There's no job that you can just be welcomed into someone's house and be expected to take care of their family member or themselves without question. So we'll take a CPR dummy and we'll practice coming in as a team like it's a real scenario.
During downtime, Chief Benton leads teachable moments that make everyone better. In this case, their training prepares them for managing a cardiac arrest, working with a dummy.
Work around your hands to cut this off.
Stand clear.
So we try to foster a culture of training here, foster a culture of development, and one thing that we use to do that is weekly shift trainings.
Analyzing now. Stand clear.
Benton will be among the winners at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes. Quote, his motivation keeps him going through personal and family hardship to ensure everyone has the best care and best day possible, someone wrote anonymously to Red Cross. Madison embodies and displays these principles every day, whether it be work or a regular person, because his purpose is to be the change that we wish to see in the world.
I come from a very rural county that doesn't have a good county EMS system. We don't have paramedic level service, so that motivated me to come here. That motivated me to pursue a higher education and try to be able to make a change with that. All right, Tyler, get ready for a switch. Good compressions.
Connect electrodes.
All right, no pulse, resume CPR.
He's from Southeast North Carolina.
Good.
Growing up in Whiteville, he watched his dad respond to calls as a volunteer firefighter. Years later, Madison is proud to be the first in his family to go to college. Far from home, but closer to his dream of being a county EMS director one day.
There's a lot of public trust. There's a lot of respect for the profession, and that's something I'm glad to be a part of. It enables me to be able to make a change and make a difference in people's lives.
As a member of the Army National Guard, Jeremy Moses is ready for just about anything. Even so, no amount of training completely prepares you for the pandemic. In the summer of 2020, he was deployed for 2 months to Victoria, Texas, a COVID hotspot.
To help rural hospital there with the kind of the overflow of COVID patients in that area.
Challenging work because the facility has limited resources.
And so my duties were basically admitting patients to the hospital from the emergency department and keeping an eye on them overnight.
When he's not deployed, he works at Pardee Adult and Family Medicine in Hendersonville. That changes as quickly as you can say April Fools. On April 1st of 2020, Moses was also deployed to a field hospital in Massachusetts known as Boston Hope. He was one of 1,200 Army Reserve medical workers on hand to support local health care providers near the beginning of the COVID crisis.
We didn't have a lot of answers, and so there was a lot of things that we were kind of making up. The general of the Army Reserve at that time described it as building an airplane while you're flying it, and I like that analogy.
Moses will be recognized at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes. Quote, Jeremy was also an integral part of the Pardee Hospital disaster response team when the pandemic first hit Henderson County, his nomination form reads. He assisted in setting up and working at the drive-through testing sites run by Pardee Hospital. Jeremy is a dedicated healthcare provider, father, husband, and service member, and we salute him.
I don't feel like I'm a hero for going when I get called up. The heroes are the people who support me when I go. So my coworkers here in the office have to work harder when I'm gone, and my wife has to be a parent by herself.
Thanks to the wave of vaccinations, it's unlikely Moses will be deployed again for a COVID-related mission, but he's always ready to respond.
And I'm a very small part of a huge effort.
There's something about a firehouse that's always made volunteer firefighter Carlos Vargas feel at home. He's in his element around everything from the gear to the trucks at Spindale Fire Department.
This is what we're used today as a first line of attack, for fires and rescues.
His career as a volunteer firefighter began some 20 years ago and 3,000 miles away in Peru, a nation torn by internal conflict. He says his desire to serve comes from something his mother once told him.
And she goes and said, Carlos, there is a very special place in hell for those who do nothing when it's needed. And so that stuck with me forever.
He went on to battle blazes in Europe, Mexico, Brazil. Carlos has also worked on the International Committee of the Red Cross, supporting peacekeeping work. He also served as a Red Cross volunteer in Miami in logistics and disaster assessment.
We happened to see, firsthand some of the pain that this incident caused to different families. And it was a great opportunity for us or for me to try to contribute somehow to society.
Vargas will be honored at the Red Cross Salute to WNC Heroes this summer for his contributions here at home and all over the map. Carlos brings energy and talent to go above and beyond in training and responding to fire calls, the nomination form reads. He speaks multiple languages, which helps tremendously in providing translation services at emergency scenes in Rutherford County. He's currently serving as an on-demand translator for the 911 Emergency Center for Rutherford County.
The day I learned that I was nominated, it was my mom's birthday.
Gloria Del Campo died 5 years ago. She was the inspiration for his life of service.
I know that day there were fireworks on the sky.
He has faith the news about his award reached a special place in heaven.
It really broke me apart that day.
Clearly, his mom taught him well. Carlos has a global perspective about what it means to contribute locally.
Get back to society. It will make you feel wonderful. And in my life, there hasn't been nothing better than that.
He was a very dedicated police officer. He was a shift detective. He was a training officer. He was on the SWAT team. He was also in the Marines and volunteered to deploy to Iraq. At the funeral, you could just really tell that Ryan had the power to bring all walks of life together and all members of our community. Whenever you drove through the funeral, just seeing the entire town on the side of the road, and some of the people were friends of ours, and some were people that he had never met, and some were people that he had arrested, people that he worked with, but he just really brought everyone together. And I think he did that because he always tried to treat everyone with respect, even if you were a criminal or if you were mean to him or whatever. He always tried to treat everyone with respect and always be kind. I think he was a hero to us because he was just the best person ever. He was so kind to us all the time and so much fun. He was the best dad ever. I learned how to be a step parent from him because he was just so good at it. And he loved to be with his kids more than anything in the world. And he loved to spend time with us. And he really loved to spend time with his brothers and his brothers in blue. That's kind of what we did all the time. For me personally, he was just my person. He was just my rock. If ever I was having a terrible day or was having a hard time with school, I could just always go to him. He wouldn't even really have to do anything. I could just talk to him or be around him, and he would always make me calm or just make me happy. Or he was always my confidant. You know, if I didn't know what to do, I could just always be like, "What do I do?" And he would always, have great advice or tell me, where to find it or how to move on from there. And he always did a really great job of, making me believe in myself that I could do anything I put my mind to. And so I think that's how he was my hero.
It is hard not to be touched by the stories of the Red Cross and heroes in our community. I support this organization for the hundreds of people they help each year right here in Western North Carolina. I support this organization because without them, so many would be left defenseless in their greatest hour of need. I support the American Red Cross and hope that you will join me in doing so. You can do that by going to redcross.org/WNC Heroes. All proceeds from today's event will be in support of Western North Carolina disaster relief. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all of our sponsors, and thank you and congratulations to all of our heroes.